90% of your system has to how good the communication is within your company. And most people tend to overcomplicate their systems and overcomplicate as to how things run in their company. When in reality, if you had clear enough communication lines and you had a flat way of communication, then 90% of the issues as to which arise in your company would not arise. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the communication lines which we have within our company, and as to how we flatlined it, and as to how we've broken all traditional communication lines that most companies do, and as to how it's helped us scale, and as to how it basically allowed for us to encounter less issues within the company. So I'll be going over the communication lines that we have right here in terms of as to how we flatlined all of it, and as to how we're actually improving it. And just so you guys can see that we actually know what we're talking about. We've generated our clients over 100 million total revenue generating views, over 100,000 leads, and over 8 figures in pipeline revenue. So you guys see this in our active tracking dashboard that we have internally. And here are all the dashboards of our clients. And we wouldn't be able to do this for our clients if it wasn't for having good communication. And we wouldn't be able to scale if it wasn't for good communication. So it all starts from the ground up, and every single decision that we make is principle driven, and that includes our communication line, and everything else we have in our company is principle driven. So main principle as to which we follow within our company is everyone can talk to everyone. And what I've seen a lot of companies do is they tend to, obviously I'm not going to say that we're better than everyone, but what I've seen a lot of companies do, and this is just a fact, is they tend to have mid-level management, and they tend to have communication lines that only the production team talks to the production managers, and then the editors talk to the editing managers and the producers. And then everything's too bureaucratic, and there's too much top to bottom communication, which tends to make things slower and tends to add bureaucracy. And this tends to happen whenever companies scale, whenever they get past that 6 figures per month mark. And the only reason as to why we're able to actually implement this is because we have top talent in the world. And what tends to happen, and what we've noticed, is a lot of companies tend to hide their shit talent, and they tend to hide the people who are not as good within these broken communication lines. So it all starts from the top to bottom. From the bottom to the top, and the bottom of everything and cleanly run operation is communication. And this is how we've done it. So first I'll start off by this communication that exists. And then the first one is email. So whenever something's low priority and something's not as important and not as drastic, you can send it via an email. For example, if you want to kind of give someone a little morning update, hey, good morning, here's what thing that we need to do. Something's not broken, it can just be done via an email, via text, or Slack. And then depending on as to how important something is, or as to how critical something is, or as to basically how important something is, you need to escalate that. So if something's super critical and something needs to get done that day or now, usually it's better if it's in person, because that's the highest level of intimacy that someone can have. And things tend to stick a little bit better whenever it's in person and it feels intimate, because the energy's kind of just there and people feel it more, versus if it's just via an email, people can just not respond, or people can just block off the email. Versus if it's in person or via a Zoom call, an actual call, you want to rise it depending on us how the complexity or how complex the issue is. So those are the biggest two things. Everyone is able to talk to everyone, so we've broken that down. So editors can talk to production managers, our growth operators can talk to our producers can talk to our editors, client success manager talks to everyone, editors can talk to the clients. We've broken down every single form of communication line, and we've made it open so that things don't slip, because whenever it's basically like broken telephone, whenever there's more points of contact, things tend to break, versus whenever something kind of just goes directly to somebody that needs to be shipped. We've taken this from Musk. So what he did is, instead of doing the Nassim Taleb, throwing over the ivory tower, things kind of tend to you tend to throw things over the tower and hope somebody catches it. This goes directly to the source. So the editors talk directly to the producers, and the creatives talk directly to the editors, and it's basically just flatlined everything in terms of communication. It's 10x, or it's basically 10x the amount of output that we've had. And then on a net, so that things aren't missed, we have 2 levels and 2 layers of catching things. So the first layer is AI. AI is installed in every single piece of communication that we have, whether it be via email. We've got MCPs everywhere. We have so much networking within AI systems that we have that it catches everything. So we have a dashboard that automatically logs a new task or something else that's added. And then on top of that, we've got our client success manager that tracks everything. So it's tracked by both things, the AI, and then the client success manager filters it to filter through the noise and see if it's actually a signal. So, and whenever things do get lost and things tend to get drowned, client success manager catches everything on top of the AI. It logs failure points and across every channel, across all Slacks, across all emails. It's sort of as a web as to how it works. It's clear handoff points and clear owners assigned within everything. So everyone within the company knows their roles and knows as to what they actually need to do. The success manager owns all of onboarding. The growth operator owns strategy alongside the creatives. Production is owned by the production manager. Distribution is owned by the distribution manager, and client success manager is owned by the reporting is owned by the client success manager. So everyone knows very clear roles and very clear things. But what happens is communication can be like spoken between each other. So onboarding, so there's very clear lines and things that need to be followed. But like the most important thing about this is like it doesn't necessarily like people can we actually do that like strategy to talk to reporting, etc. So basically all feeds itself. That's any sense. Ends up kind of just having a very, very strict and direct. Here's who you talk to, and here's your only point of contact. And that's who you're stuck with, like no broken at all. But yeah, editors naturally go to long form editors, but then the long form editors can also go to the creatives whenever it comes to understanding as to what strategy we want to follow within like retention tactics, and what the actual vision is for brand. And then we've got internal pulses as well. So we've got daily end of day reports. We've actually changed this to every Friday and Wednesday. So it's two weekly reports instead of having daily direct reports. We've got weekly syncs as well within the company. And then we've got Friday wins within all clients. We've got bi-weekly reports that I didn't add here. We've got monthly reports. And then we've got Tuesday and Friday creative calls. We've got our head of the department Monday calls. And then we've got the occasional work calls whenever we want to just hop on a work call and just talk. Then we've got our internal client slacks. We've got the external client slacks, and then we've got role slacks. So each, we've got internal and external, both for the client. So let's just we onboard a new client, say Altoids. We took Altoids on as a client. We have Altoids internal CC, which is the entire team that talks about internal stuff. Then we've got external client, external Altoids. So it's like Altoids team, and then our team lives in that one, versus the internal one, it's only our team that does the communication. And then we've got per role. So like creatives have their own slacks, producers have their own slacks, editors have their own slacks, growth operators have their own slacks. That way it kind of like incentivizes people to communicate within those. And then the external pulses as well. So we've got internal pulses and external pulses. External pulses are communication lines between us and the client, and then internal pulses are just internal communication lines between ourselves. So our weekly wins, bi-weekly reports, monthly reports, bi-weekly calls, and then constant updates whenever we're onboarding somebody, just to keep the clients within the loop so that they're not in the dark. This all feeds itself, and this all comes from the principle that everyone talks to everyone. And we're basically broken the belief that you need to have one main, like you need to have like one direct person that's what you talk to. No, like everyone can talk to everyone. And that's how you flatline things and allows for things to operate a little bit smoother. It tends to make things a bit more frictionless. And now you're probably wondering, and you're saying like, this adds complexity and this tends to make things a bit messy, and that's exactly as to why we've got nets in the background that catch things whenever things do get missed. And because at the end of the day, any single point of communication, whether it be like with classical mid-level management or whether it be everyone to everyone, things tend to get lost. We are human at the end of the day. No one's perfect. So that's why you need to have a net, and that's why we have a net in the background to catch things that do get missed, things that do get filtered. But yeah, so this is as to the thing as to which we've done in terms of having very clear communication that has allowed for us to scale to a pretty decent size. And this is actively improving. By no means is this final. As we get more feedback and as we see what works best and what doesn't within the system, we're actively iterating on it. But as of right now, this is what we've seen that works best. My mic on? Yeah, mic's thank God. So yeah, if you want to see if you apply to work with us, I'm going to leave a link in the description so you can go through the content intelligence mission and see as to if you actually qualify. But we only work with companies doing at least $1 million in annual recurring revenue. So